Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. Right, today, well, we haven't really had a lot of warranty claims and that today, so fortunately the last couple of days we're just sort of cracking on with a few jobs we got here, one of which is this 1800 Volkswagen block, which was in for refacing and reboring. I'm just going to show you how we go about boring this and the processes in there. We've had to bore this out 40 thou, which is, you know, a millimetre, and the machine that we use to do that, if I just take you around the corner here, is this pattern boring bar. And that's this bit of equipment here that looks like it's from the 1920s. It is in fact pretty old actually, this, but what we do is, you see you've got this boring head here sitting on these giant parallels. So you've got the top, which is parallel to the bottom. The block sits on these I-beams. The block, this sits on the block face, and you do this, you pull this up till it's tight up against the block face, and then obviously your bores are going to be 90 degrees to this. You've got the boring head here, as you see down there. You've got the holes at the top here, which you put 3 what they call cat's paws in at even spacing, and then down the bottom you've got the preset cutter hole where that sits in there and clamps in. So here is the preset tool that I'm on about. You've got the tool in one end, the cutting end, then you've got the adjustable bar at the other end. You've got this setting piece here. So what you do is you put the cutter to the left hand side here, you put the cutter in right up against to that stop, and then here, I don't know whether you can see that, you've got measurements on here. So depending what the bore size is, this setting piece here is old school, it's in imperial. So if you've got a metric bore size, you have to convert that to imperial, and then you set the tool on here to exactly what it is. So say for example it's a 78mm bore, it's 78 divided by 25.4, and that gives you the imperial measurement. So then you set this tool to that, and the way this is set up is, if you set it dead on the bore size, this tool is going to cut the bore about 2 thou less than what you want, and that 2 thou you leave in there is what we're going to hone out at the end to get the finished surface finish. Right, so once that thing's bored, we go over here, and the block then goes on this contraption, which is a Delipina hone. So you sit that on this bed here. You've got the home up here, which when you press this button spins round in a clockwise direction. You've got the 2 cutting stones here and the 2 centering stones here, and whatever tension you put on here opens that out, and that puts a cut on, and you basically hone it up and down. That gives you your cross hatching that you see in the bores, and also takes it out to the size you want. So the block we've just done is finished. We've had it on the hone there, and what you do is you set this bore gauge. Okay, you set this up in a micrometer to whatever size the bore size is meant to be. So the way I normally set it is on that little gauge there, as you can see. I set it between the 2 and 3, which is sort of in the middle of the gauge, and then the big hand will be on the 0, and that there will be exactly the bore size I want. So if we go over to this block again, okay, so if I put the bore gauge down, you can see that is about 1/2 thou over what we want, and that is how. So size to 1/2 thou is what you're looking for. Bear in mind this block is still a little bit warm because I've washed it, and it's going to be, once it cools down, it's probably going to be, well, it will be exactly size because I've measured it. So that block is there, finished. I'm ready for the customer. Right, so that block's bored. Next up, we've got this V8. I've got to try and set this up on the boring bar. Now this is a bit of a bugger, to be honest with you, as we haven't got a set jig to put this on there, and obviously because the bores are sort of 90 degrees to each other, what I have to do is, if I use that bar down there, this one, and I normally stick that through the main housing and set it up on here in between parallels, if you know what I mean. So the parallels will sit on the end of the bar, and then with two of us we can sort of hold it up and clamp it up. It's a bit of a job, and you've got to be a bit careful of your fingers, very heavy, so probably get the crane into action for this one, but I'll show you once I've got that one set up there. What else have we got going on? So we've got that Cosworth there, which is still ongoing. This is the one that's we made up out of bits that we bought. It's getting the main bits is hard enough, but then guys, you've got to get all the little bits, like the front seal housing, the front seal housing there for the jack shaft, obviously the water pump, all the relevant bolts. Bit of a nightmare really. We've still got a sort of clutch plate out for this. We've got a clutch cover and a flywheel, and we've got to machine that flywheel. No, we haven't. We've done that and we've balanced it. Talking rubbish. Got a cam belt kit. Yeah, there's plenty of bits to get on there, but this is, as I say, that's an ongoing project. I've had loads of barrels this week. Mental with the barrels. So we've got 4 barrels there we've had to hone. I think that's off a 2CV, to be honest with you. Got 3 barrels up here in the box. In there, we do a lot of work for an ATV company. We rebore their barrels and off the quads. Yeah, we've got BSA A10, I believe. I had to put liners in this, so we've got standard pistons. The customer wants to use the standard original pistons. This was out to 60, I think. So what we've done, we've fitted liners in here, and I'll show you how we do that. I normally bore it out, obviously, on the pad and boring bar there, and if you see at the back there, I machine it out to a step, a sort of 2-3 step down at the bottom. Do it with a 2 or 3 thou interference, and then push the liners and heat the barrels, push the liners in with a sort of Loctite, and machine the top, machine the bottom, grind out the cutouts for the con rods, and rebore it, obviously face it, rebore it back to whatever bore size they want. So in this case standard. Got second-hand pistons, but I suppose the cost of the liners minus the cost for the pistons. I mean, a lot of this old stuff, it depends whether it's available. This is the thing. So we shall put a new set of rings in them. They measure up good anyway, so they'll be fine. And that's that job done there. What else we got? Yeah, we've got a lot of cylinder heads, as you can see on the floor here. A lot of cylinder heads this week, which is all good. We've got Ford V6 on 2.8 V6 cylinder heads here, which we've done, supplied gaskets. We've rebored that block. Where's that? Oh, here he is. So we've rebored that and faced the block faces. That's all fresh, ready to go. Been a bit quiet on the warranty and the customer complaining front, but that's good in some ways, but not so entertaining for yourselves. Just we get to show you a bit of our equipment and a couple of the machining processes. Anyway guys, leave you to it, and see you again tomorrow. Remember to like, subscribe, press the notification bell. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care guys.